Well, we have learned new information today in that case of the New York man accused of killing a man in Trenton. 43-year-old William Morris is facing murder charges for the death of Richard Bellatieri, who had been missing since June of last year. Now, investigators in the case argue that not only did Morris take the life of his victim, he then assumed his identity for months on end. For more now on this bizarre case, we turn things over to News Center's Mike DeSumma. Mike?
Chris, William Morris made his first appearance in front of a judge today. He did not have to enter a plea to the charge of murder. The state investigators can pinpoint when exactly the death of Richard Bellatieri took place, but court documents read for months on end, Morris had taken over his life. According to a police affidavit, William Morris told investigators he first met Richard Bellatieri in a chat room. He claimed the accountant hired him to do work on a home he owned in Trenton. But at some point last year, Bellatieri would go missing. The state argues that was a direct result of a cold-blooded killing.
With respect to this charge of intentional knowing murder,
Court documents show when they investigated the disappearance, police were led right to Morse. Investigators say in many ways he was portraying himself as Richard Bellatieri, assuming his identity by carrying the victim's driver's license, credit cards, even his social security card. Court documents also read that Morse made phone calls identifying himself as Bellatieri, registered a car using his name, and rented out a property belonging to Bellatieri on Mount Desert Island. The victim's ex would later tell investigators that the man leaving messages claiming to be Bellatieri was not him. Yet throughout the investigation, Morse maintained that his employer was alive and well, giving him his bank card as a form of payment. Then on July 29th, police made a grim discovery near the Trenton home. Skeletal remains which would later be identified as Bellatieri's, covered under potting soil and a large cut tree. The state medical examiner's office found that he suffered trauma to the head, as well as several gunshot wounds to the leg, face, and skull. These were all findings that would lead to Morse's arrest on August 1st. William Morris is continuing to be held without bail at the Hancock County Jail. Attorneys for both sides of the case offered no comment following today's hearing. A grand jury will be hearing the evidence in this case as early as this month. Chris?
Okay, thanks very much for that report, Mike.